Okay, sorry guys. I had an incoming call, but let's go back to part 2 really quickly. I'm sorry, to number 2 really quickly. I actually wrote this down wrong. When you're plugging it back in, make sure you're plugging it back into the original equation. The original equation did not have 8 in the denominator. It was just 8y equals 48. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. 8 times 6, because I plugged in 6 for y, gives me 48. And does that equal 48? Yes, so you have a correct answer. Please remember that you should be writing all these problems down. You should be solving them, and you should be checking your work as well. All of these need to be written down in your notebook. All right, moving on to number 3. We have q minus 12. All right, go ahead and circle the variable. The variable is q. We also have a minus 12 on the left side with the variable, so we need to get rid of this minus 12. So to get rid of it, we're going to do the inverse operation of minus 12, which is addition of 12. Okay? Whatever we do on the left side, we want to do it on the right side. So plus 12. And you're going to get q equals 13. Make sure you go back and check your work. So we have q equals 13. We're going to plug in 13 for q. Minus 12 equals 1. And I'm plugging it into this original equation right here, that first line. So 13 minus 12 gives us 1. 1 does equal 1, so you know you have the correct answer. For number 4, locate your variable. Your variable is in a fraction this time. Remember, a fraction always signifies that you're going to do division. So the inverse operation of division is actually multiplication. So go ahead and put parentheses around that whole fraction, because that's going to signify that we're going to go ahead and multiply that whole fraction by a number. In this case, we want to multiply it by 2 because we need to get rid of this 2. So we want to go ahead and isolate the variable. And the only way to do that is by getting rid of the denominator, which is 2. So we're going to multiply this by 2. Remember, you're always multiplying it by the number you're trying to get rid of. So if this was 4, we're going to multiply it by 4. If this was 5, you're going to multiply it by 5. In this case, it's 2. So go ahead and multiply it by 2, which in turn will cancel that out. Whatever you do to the right side, do to the left side. So multiply 18 by 2. So we're going to have 2 times 18 gives us 36. We no longer have that 2, we just have a b now. So 36 is our answer for b, or is our solution for b. Go ahead and plug it back in just to make sure that you did it correctly. In this case, remember 36 equals b is the same thing as b equals 36. You can flip them around, it does not matter. But let's go ahead and plug that in. So we have 18 equals 36 over 2. Go ahead and simplify that. 36 divided by 2 gives you 18. So we know we have the correct answer. Let's move on to the last example. These are the easiest. You might try to figure out, where am I going to move that d? I don't know what to do. You don't have to move the d because the d is already isolated, okay? So there's nothing on that side with the d. It's just literally a d equals 3 squared. So what you're going to do is just go ahead and simplify that exponent, or whatever's on the other side of that equal sign. You don't have to move the d because the d is already by itself. So 3 squared is not 3 times 2, it is 3 times 3, so d equals 9. And that is your answer. Okay? I want you to go ahead and work with your partners. I'll go ahead and flip this so you can see all the questions. Press pause so you can write these down and just work it out with your partners in your workbook. Make sure you understand these before you move on, because your next thing you're going to do is your exit ticket. Remember the exit ticket, there is nothing on your desk. I don't even want the books passed out until these problems are worked out and everybody is complete. This should take no more than 10 minutes, and then you're going to move on to your exit ticket. Once everyone's complete with 1 through 6, then somebody can pass out your workbooks and do the same thing as you always do. Get everything off your desk. Make sure the exit ticket is face down until Mr. Chris tells you to flip it over. These should be fairly simple. If you wrote down the other examples, you'll be able to understand these. The only one that may be a little bit confusing is number 6. But remember with number 6, this is 1/2 times p. So if you were to expand this out, 1/2 times p. So in reality, the p stays on the right side, but we have to get rid of this fraction. Okay, so if you wanted to get rid of this fraction, just multiply it by 2, okay, and that would get rid of the fraction. Well, let me cross that out correctly. And then whatever you do on the right side, you're going to do it on the left side. I'm working this one out for you, but make sure you understand this one because you will see one very similar to it in a second. So we're going to do 2 times 20 gives us 40, and that equals p. Okay? Make sure you plug it in to make sure it's the correct answer. Go ahead and work these out with your partner, and I will have the next video uploaded in a few.